Hey everyone, Steve Avellino here. Today we're going to spend a couple of minutes talking about how to get better sleep. There's a lot of science out there these days concerning sleep hygiene, blue light, when should you turn off your screens before bed, having a totally dark bedroom, when should you stop eating before bed, different temperatures. Today I'm going to tell you about three things that I instituted about a year ago that changed my sleep from 4.5 hours a night to 7.25 hours a night. And I track my sleep. I've been doing so for over a year now. And that's the time I've added. So let's take a look at these three things. So the first thing I do before bed is I get into different shapes, which may sound kind of foolish, but when I do that, I'm not tossing and turning, trying to get into a comfortable position when I lay down. So the first thing I'll do is I just sit normally with my back against the wall or against a couch, and I am just sitting here straight legged, and I'm getting a bit of stretch in the back of the legs. From there, I go to a position here to stretch out the groin, and I do not time where how long I'm sitting. It's just where I'm comfortable. So obviously I'm doing a little longer than what I'm showing you now. Then we're going to go to a Now I will spread my legs out a lot wider in this one, but just to keep it in the view of the camera, I'm not doing so, but this would be a lot wider. Then we're going cross-legged. Hang out there for a couple of minutes. Cross-legged, hang out here for a couple of minutes. Then I'm normally here for as long as I'm comfortable. Here for as long as I'm comfortable. And then I'm doing what is called a 1990. And this is a real good one because now this leg is doing the opposite of sitting. We're going to switch sides. And then we're just getting into what is called a piriformis stretch, where we stretch out a muscle around the hip. Now, once again, doing this, getting into the different shapes. I'm no longer tossing and turning. When I get into bed, I can easily find a comfortable position. And let's take a look at the second thing I do before bed. So the second thing I do before bed is I do some lymphatic drainage in the face and neck. Before I talk about that, as far as different shapes are concerned, if you can't get down on the floor, no problem. You can do the movements in the bed. And if there's a move that causes you pain, just abbreviate it a little bit or eliminate it altogether. Okay, so back to the lymphatic drainage. I have a tendency for my left sinus to be congested, which makes me more of a mouth breather than a nose breather when I'm sleeping. So we're going to drain the lymphatic system. It drains at the subclavian vein right here above the collarbone. So I'm just lightly pulling in 5 times right above the collarbone to get that activated. I'm not pushing out, I am pulling in. Now we're going down the side of the neck 5 times. And I can already feel my left sinus start to open. Right side. Now we're going to do the jawline, thumb right here, and just trace underneath the jaw. And my sinus is starting to open. We're doing the other side. It's a little soreness on this side, which telling me one of my lymph nodes may be inflamed a little bit. Okay, now we are taking the second knuckle and the index finger and right above the eyebrows. right above the cheekbones, nice and gentle. The lymphatic vessels are right underneath the skin. You do not have to apply a lot of pressure. And my sinus is opening up big time now. Underneath the cheekbones, 5 times. Now we are going back to the neck. Once again, we want the lymph fluid to drain right around the collarbone. And then right above the collarbone 5 times. So I've just done some lymphatic drainage in the face, and that's the second thing I do before I go to bed. And now let's take a look at the third thing, which is activating the vagus nerve. Now the vagus nerve is our primary rest and digest nerve. Okay, so it basically relieves stress. I actually activated the vagus nerve the last time I had an MRI, which I can't stand. Absolutely hate MRIs. And I literally dozed off in the tube until obviously the noise changed and woke me back up. But I was totally relaxed, and I never am in an MRI. So that said, how do you activate the vagus nerve? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look, I'm not going to move the neck or face. I'm just going to look all the way to the left for 30 seconds. I'm going to abbreviate that here. Now I'm going to look to the right for 30 seconds. Back to the midline, not moving the face or neck. Look to the left for 20 seconds. Right, 20 seconds. Left, 10 seconds. And right, 10 seconds. Now, when I do that, I know the vagus nerve is activated if I get a deep sigh or a yawn. Now, it's going to require some patience with this one. I had one of my students, probably took her about 2 weeks before it actually worked. Normally now before bed, sometimes I don't even get to the 10-second mark, and I'm out cold. But I've been doing it every night for over a year. So give this a shot. Do not get frustrated if it doesn't work for a while, and just do the 30 seconds each side, 20 seconds each side, 10 seconds each side. And if it doesn't work, then don't worry about it. Try it again the next night. But continue to do so, because for a lot of us, it brings us right into a very non-stressful situation, easier to fall asleep. And you can try it during the day as well if you're stressed out for whatever reason. So those are the 3 things that I have been doing to increase my sleep. Once again, I went from 4.5 hours to 7.25 hours. Now I'm going to do some studying and figure out how to increase the quality of my sleep now that the quantity is much better. So once again, different shapes. Drain the lymphatic system, activate the vagus nerve, and give it a shot. Let me know how it works. I've had a lot of people now that are sleeping much better. Remember, we want to die young at an extremely old age.